No. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 12?
Question mark?
Of Homerow Podcast.
The most consistent podcast on the internet.
We strive for quality because you're worth it. My name is Joe McAllister. I'm joined by the ever lovely Doxy.
Hello.
And the also ever lovely Brian.
Hello.
Oh, seductive. Anyway, so it was a bit of a light news week, so we're going to kind of dip into some hot topics otherwise. But I wanted to throw a topic at you guys and see what your thoughts were, because I just found this today, and I did not give you a warning. So I just kind of wanted to grab feelings. I have a feeling we'll all be on the same page, so we can kind of move past it. But I just learned that as of July 1st, the city of Chicago is instituting, or has instituted, it's in place now, a tax for using pretty much any online service. Hulu, Netflix, Xbox Live, PlayStation Network. Businesses are also not exempt. So Google Apps for Business, Amazon Web Services, which are like pretty much the two apps that most businesses use in one capacity or another. If you operate in the city of Chicago, you pay a 9% tax on what they call an amusement tax. I believe it's 9%. That may be incorrect. Somebody may correct me, but it's still a tax for using the shit you want to use.
That's the most disgusting thing I have ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
They got to get that money.
I am furious that this is happening. People of Chicago, I am so sorry. Like,
rise up.
I know I have nothing to do with this, but like, holy shit. Just let me apologize to you from the internet. Like, my God.
I feel like this is where like supervillains are created. Like, this is why Bane exists in The Dark Knight Rises.
Speak of the devil, and he shall appear.
Like,
Yeah,
because
dude.
Gotham instituted amusement taxes. Like 9%.
I can't believe what I'm hearing. Like, are you sure that's not like an Onion article or something?
I
No,
actually
it
wanted to
sounds like-
check it out because it was on the front page of Reddit. And I will try to link to the post. Let me see in the description and all that fun stuff. But, oh, shoot.
No. This exactly sounds like the city of Chicago. Like, this is right up their alley. As a, person from the area, I'm just saying, this kind of sounds like that.
Dude, I'm like, I was supposed to move to Chicago, and now I'm hyper than hype that I didn't.
It is a great place to live, though.
Fuck that. Not anymore.
There's no doubt about it, but that is...
Anymore.
It's an awesome city. Like, I like, there it is. National Review Online had the article. It was posted over to Reddit. And they actually, thank God, Samuel A. Rosado, good work on you, because you linked in the second paragraph straight to the PDF of the bill or law or whatever it is on cityofchicago.org, which I would imagine is legit, right? It wouldn't be cityofchicago.gov. Whatever.
I don't fucking know.
No.
It's signed right at the top by Dan Wadowski. Gotta say
What a
it in
name.
Chicago.
I like that. Wadowski.
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 But the way it works out is essentially 9% for each $3.99 digital rental through. It's insane. So Chicago now taxes its citizens 9% on their $99 annual Amazon Prime subscription because of its instant video/music service, plus 9% for each $3.99 digital rental through the same service.
So does Amazon collect that tax for them?
No, I'm assuming the city of Chicago does.
Well, but I mean, how do they enforce it? Like, I buy a few things on the internet, and I don't. During tax season, I'm supposed to, put down the use tax that for all the things I didn't pay tax on that I buy on the internet. I'm not saying I don't do it because that would be a violation of the law, but do I?
Right. And that's the conversation came up when I posted this to my Twitter and then Facebook. The conversation came out that, how to get around it. Will there be a lot of addresses being placed for Netflix outside of the Chicago area or in different states? and what can they do to protect against like VPNs. I don't want them to. I think they need to drop this piece of shit because it's just stupid, including Microsoft Office 365. I'm going to die.
Yeah, you sound like it.
It's disgusting because it if it makes almost any money, somebody can cite it as a success. You know,
yeah.
If they pull in revenue from this, the city of Chicago, which I understand, a city has to make money, but this is not the way that you do that. Like, instead of this, there are multiple other billion-dollar corporations or large businesses that you could probably institute some small taxes on that would at least bring in something.
Yeah.
The worst part about this being called an amusement tax and being taxed on Microsoft Office 365 is no one has ever had fun with Office. Ever. There has been never an amusement for that.
I actually really enjoy Excel. I really do. I have so much fun with Excel.
Have you ever seen the games that are made inside of Excel?
No.
They're all legitimate games. Definitely almost Googled Sexcel.
Nice. Now that will be taxed.
It's not just an amusement tax. Oh, wow. Somebody made 2048, which is a Threes ripoff. Different topic for a different day. 2048 in Excel. Candy Number Crunch. Stupid. Monopoly. There's a 3D
Monopoly.
maze. I think Arena is the one that I'm familiar with. That's a full-blown RPG made in Excel.
That's
nice.
So I will play that. I will play that on my YouTube channel. I will do it.
Linking you that because I need to see it.
So,
yeah, I definitely want to do it.
Total side note, I did see a thing lately that the Threes guys are making more off of ad revenue on the free version of Threes, the ad version of Threes, than they are from actually selling the $2.99 full version of the game.
Isn't that how it normally works with apps?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy for them to be able to make some money. Those are some good guys.
Yeah, and I mean, when you take a step back and look at it, why would somebody pay $2.99 for that app when 2048 does exist for free, or for even on the App Store? I think it's free, right? Because I think the train of thought with applications is on Apple you charge, whereas on Google Play you go for free and go ad rev or something like that. I'm obviously not an app developer, but yeah, if you've got a free app that's right next to it that is at its core the same game, if it was ripped off or not, why would you spend $3 when you can get away for no bucks?
Yeah. Well,
I'm one of those assholes that is like really morally torn for that kind of thing, and I always end up going with paying the dudes.
Yep. I bought Threes.
I like
Threes.
I like to cast my capitalist vote.
Yeah, I bought
There you
Threes
go.
on my... Oh, I don't have my phone. I bought Threes on my iPhone, and then I switched over to Android, and I'll probably buy it again because I remember following those guys, following the release of their app, and then it's like, oh shit, disaster. Like, are you fucking kidding? People can just take the concept of my game and totally flip it and make all the money. And the people that made 2048 are absolutely unapologetic.
Oh, yeah.
So...
Joe, were you on when the Threes guys were on first?
Yeah. Maybe that was about the time I was listening to them. They were in the chat. They had like a chat topic.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, they had their own topic and everything. It was great.
Yeah.
They were really good guys.
They were awesome. Yeah. And they were also on a couple podcasts that I was listening to, and they were on like a Polygon video, I think, as well. And it was just really interesting to see how that all played out. They handled it as well as you could for getting what could have been
getting ripped off.
Yeah. Thousands, maybe millions. You don't know how much potential revenue there was there is slashed because somebody copied you.
Mm-hmm.
Super uncool.
Yeah, well, that is a topic I did not expect, or man, we took a crazy path to get there.
Yeah.
I like it.
From
We're
Excel
good at that,
games.
I feel.
I think so too. And then we forget what we were talking about. Oh yeah, Chicago.
Oh yeah, right. So the Threes, I'm bringing it back. I'm going to bring it back around.
Wait.
So one of the guys in the chat we were having with the guys from Threes on First for Gamers, one of the guys and I, we were talking about where to get the best pizza in Chicago.
Ooh.
I brought
Full
it
circle.
around.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
So
then what's
all
the
the way
word? Where is the best pizza in Chicago?
I've forgotten now where he said.
Who cares? I'm never going to Chicago again. Just saying. It's
Yeah.
not happening.
Yeah, they won't get my tourist money. I wonder if they... Oh, God, if they, tapped into my Google wallet every second I'm watching Netflix in their stupid city. I do love visiting Chicago, though. That sucks. It gives me a very bad opinion of the people running that, and therefore the city sucks a little more now.
As you're watching Netflix in Chicago now, there's a little coin that pops up. It goes bing, bing, and it's charging your credit card every few seconds. Yeah.
Or they turn Netflix into a free-to-play game, and I have to pop the little bubble as it pops up.
Yeah.
That or buy 20,000 coins, which is actually just $20 to play my stupid movies.
Sorry, Doxy, you were going to say something, and I totally interrupted you.
No, like.
Oh, okay.
Fuck that shit.
I think we're all old enough
That's my.
to remember that. Remember when all the good movies were set in Chicago, like Ferris Bueller and
Yeah, it's because they were all made by
what's his name, John?
John. I was going to say Goodwin.
I almost said John Lasseter.
No,
is that a
John
movie's name?
Hughes.
Hughes. Yeah, jeez, Lasseter. Who the hell's John Lasseter? Now you know what?
Wasn't
Video
John
games-
Lasseter a cowboy or somebody?
Back to
I don't
video
know.
games.
Did he make the Lasseter gun thing?
I got nothing.
I got pointy,
It's-
shooty things.
You both said familiar names that my brain was like, yeah, that's a guy.
He made
And
Toy
that's
Story.
all I got.
Oh,
Okay.
there you go.
Toy Story, A Bug's Life, Toy Story 2, Cars 2. Anyway, totally
That's
different
a rich
person.
man.
Yeah, he's doing all right, I'm sure. And he wears like those really goofy Disney shirts, which I guess he should. So, video games. Doxy, I know you had a couple topics you wanted to chat upon.
Yeah. Okay. So I real quickly just want to touch on Terraria. We've been playing the shit out of
You
Terraria
guys
on my
have.
streams,
Yes, you have.
and it's amazing. I just want to shout out these dudes for like continuing to support this game that was done like forever ago. They just keep adding to it and adding to it and adding to it, and every single time they update it, it's like they're adding like just as much stuff as there already was, you know? So it's like an exponential growth thing with them every single time, and just like super shout out. Like I love it. I'm really happy with it, and I do feel like I am going to get even more like hours and hours and hours out of this game. Like it's just so good. So good. Like I will the other night on Wednesday night, we were just like all sitting around not talking to each other on Skype. Me and like the people that I stream with were just like sitting talking on Skype, and one of them was like, I'm gonna just go grind some fishing quests, and I was like, you know what, I'll do that too. I'll join and keep you company. And after about an hour of that, we were like, there's no reason we shouldn't be streaming this, and we ended up streaming it until like 8 in the morning. So
Damn.
yeah, like that's the kind of game Terraria is. Like you never want to put it down. There's always something to do, and like you're having a ton of fun doing it. And I just like super huge shout out to the dudes behind Terraria, because holy shit, that game is amazing.
I need
the
to
second
jump back
thing-
into that.
Dude, you're welcome to join us anytime. We
I
can
really
get
should,
you up
because-
stuff real fast.
Yeah, I think part of it is like watching your stream even. I forgot there were like bosses in the game. Like I said, I think I jumped in by myself just to check out what it was, and it struck me as like, just go figure stuff out, which is great.
Yeah,
but if you're alone,
Very is.
it's kind of not the same experience, I'd say.
Yeah. I have fun playing it by myself, but like I can understand why people wouldn't.
Yeah. Well, especially
I
think my
definitely
first
prefer it with
experience.
friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely for the first experience, you want somebody else there. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was like community on H1Z1. Community in multiplayer online games in general, really. But recently, playing H1Z1, I've been talking on the like radio, like you know how they added the communication radios to H1Z1.
Yeah, like the walkies.
Mm-hmm. But like, there's also they're also like CBs, so you can just like turn it on to channel 1, and anybody that has a radio can just be like chatting with each other. And
Oh,
I
cool.
finally got the courage to start doing that, because for the longest time, ever since my first like huge experience with
Sure.
H1Z1,
Yeah.
it's like just kind of a scary thing, you know?
Right,
Like
right.
it didn't. it didn't make me never want to do it again. It just like it made me want to shy away from it. Like I would just listen to these guys for the longest time and be like, okay, so like what are they gonna think? Like, are they gonna be like, oh my god, it's a girl, and then like just give me everything because I don't want that. And then also, are they gonna be like, oh my god, here comes another fucking attention hungry girl, fucking shun the bitch and sexually harass. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it turns out that it's actually a really, really cool community on the server that I play on. I play on the server Astaroth, and it's a PvE one. I just do it to like build stuff and like have a good time and hang out with friends who are on that server. And it's been fantastic. It's been really amazing. And there's everybody knows each other, and like I made friends with everybody, and now everybody likes me, and like we all help each other out, but without just like flat out giving each other stuff. Mostly we like barter and trade and stuff, and it's really fun. It's like I'm really pleasantly surprised by how that community is shaped up.
Awesome. That's good to hear, because I was a little concerned before the call. You said you had something to talk about H1Z1, and listeners of the show will remember. I think this will be the third show we've mentioned H1Z1 in particular on, and the first one was no bueno.
Yeah. Well, they're getting better.
Good.
I'll say. But like that has nothing to do with the devs. I still kind of fucking hate the Daybreak team, to be totally honest. Like, I want to love them. They make it really hard though.
Mm-hmm.
This is more about the community, the H1Z1 community, that I've like just really, really enjoy.
Cool.
That's awesome.
At least on my server, anyway.
Yeah, that's always nice. I think what got me pouring something like 20 plus hours into DayZ standalone was my first experience in that game. Kind of like Terraria, but it was me, and actually I was all by myself, kind of figuring the game out. Wanted to get the lay of the land before my buddies jumped in with me. And I ran into a guy who like did the wave emote and came over and started chatting on the local, and he straight up asked me like, hey, have you been playing long? Because I had nothing and didn't like, I was licking the battery and like doing the stupid stuff that people die very quickly for.
Yeah.
And he didn't really lay out a whole lot. He was just like, hey, do you need anything? Like, water's kind of hard to find. Here's a bottle. Here's some purified water. Go ahead and
quick crash course.
Yeah, he's like, here's what you need to try and do, this, and this. And then that's another game, though, where you kind of get to a certain point. You're like, what am I doing? The only thing left to do is grief other players, and that's stupid.
Right, yeah.
But it's cool to hear that community's come a ways, because that's obviously never what you want to have any experience, let alone, an early on one, be.
Right, I totally wanted to ask you guys about your, like, community experiences in games. Like, whether maybe it's different for you guys being men. Like, I'm not huge on, like, feminist issues. That's probably a terrible thing to say, but, like, I identify as a feminist, but I'm, like, scared to brand myself as one, just because of the people who do it wrong, do it really, really wrong, and, like, give them a bad name. But, like, this is one of those issues that I feel pretty strongly about. Like, I want to be able to enjoy my games regardless of what the fuck is between my legs. So I want to know if you guys have
How
had.
dare
like,
you?
I just want to know if community experiences in MMOs are different for you guys than for me.
So, I guess it really depends on the game that I'm playing, but I assume so. I guess, and I consider myself an advocate of feminism. So. I suppose I automatically assume it's different for me because I'm a dude. Now, it also depends on, I haven't really been in that many that have voice chat, unless it's, my brother-in-law and a few of his friends, we created a Team Fortress 2 server way, way back in the day. And we made it a point where it didn't matter who you were. The main rule was don't be a douchebag.
Right.
So, that was like our number one thing. And when people started that, we were like, this is your warning. You either stop being a douchebag or you're out. And that was one of the things is when you start a community is to foster that, not want, and we had females that played on our server because we had that kind of attitude towards people who were just being jerkwads. We didn't want them on our server because who wants to play with that?
Right.
I also happen to get very lucky playing like Yo-Ho-Ho Puzzle Pirates or Lord of the Rings Online, where I met just a bunch of really great people, and you end up into you fall into a good group of people, and that always helps. And in truth, community make or breaks a game. It really does.
Most of the time when there isn't voice chat available, I will never disclose the fact that I'm a girl ever.
Right.
And people are like pretty cool to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's something that it's just a huge point of contention in voice chat for me.
And it's definitely something we need to change as a community,
agreed,
as
100%.
gamers.
Yeah.
You know, what about you, Joe? What type of experiences have you had?
Well, as you guys know, like probably the highest play count online games that I have are probably like Battlefield 4 and Hardline. And
yeah,
actually,
those are the worst for me.
You know what? They playing on Xbox One is where I primarily play because that's kind of where my friends are, so we squad up, and so I'm usually in voice chat with them. But I have noticed that more often than not, nobody's using voice chat on Xbox One, which is kind of nice. It's like if I had the choice of everybody, like once I join in, somebody, even one person being an obnoxious dickhead playing their stupid music way too loud, or just nobody talking, I'd rather just kind of take nobody talking because I can find buddies, or if somebody plays well, I can shoot them a message and be like, hey, would you like to squad up? Send them a party invite. Like that I can handle. I do have a distinct memory of Rainbow Six Siege, the alpha, and playing with people, and it was just like the loudest. Everybody was using voice chat because it's pretty much mandatory. Like they just in the alpha, they just had it on, like you were using it. They had a push to talk feature. It was really bad, so everybody was just talking all the time, and it wasn't abrasive. It was chaotic. It was not conducive for the game. Like it didn't lead to a good experience because everybody was yelling. There were maybe 2 or 3 guys that I met in a couple matches that were actually helpful, calling things out left and right, and that gave me hope for the game. But I also can't say that was like that they treated me any better or worse just because I'm a dude. Like there was nothing there. And I completely wholeheartedly agree that there's a lot that needs to change because, for instance, Doxy, if we didn't know each other, we jumped in a game and you just started talking and I realized you're a girl, or you feel the need to say I'm a girl, fuck, cool.
Yeah, for sure.
That's how it
That's
should
another
be.
thing. That's another thing that, like, I feel like a lot of the time when girls need to make it known that they're a girl, they're like, it sucks that I have to feel this way, but it feels like they're kind of asking for it. You know what I mean? And like, and that makes me hate myself. And I hate that attitude so much. And like, especially when there's more than one girl and they don't know each other and they feel like they have to compete with each other to get the most attention and stuff like that. And like, that's just not the kind of community that we should be fostering at all.
Right.
Totally agree.
At all. It's so frustrating. And that's another thing that I love about this community on H1Z1 is that there are lots of girls and we're all super cool with each other. And it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome.
There's another tangent to take that is, if somebody's an asshole to, let's say there is only one girl on your squad or in your game, somebody comes in as an asshole and then anybody sticks up for that girl, there's this stigma of white knighting.
Yep.
And that's fucking gross.
It's so gross.
Like,
so gross.
If you talk shit to my friend, regardless of sex or anything, I'm going to tell you to shut the hell up. Like, it's...
Yeah.
Well, it's like girls are, like... It's almost like girls are branded as not being able to fucking talk shit back themselves, and dudes just randomly, like, or not randomly, just like automatically fire back. You know what you know what I mean? But like with girls, that's a dangerous fucking game to play because you could end up getting fucking doxxed. You could end up getting like, it's really scary. It's like, it's so weird to even like be mentioning this stuff. I feel like me a couple of years ago would be like, holding me down and spitting down Now Me's mouth, just like take it, girl. But like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just
it's a weird.
Well, there's the thing. Yeah, the thing is regardless, no one should have to feel that they either deserve it or that someone, not that they deserve it or that someone else deserves it in their place. Like, no one should ever have to log into a game and say, am I going to be harassed today?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Like, that should not even be in, and it's a problem for women regardless of the medium. I mean, you walk outside, my wife walks to, she'll walk to the store, walk to school, and she'll get street harassed. Mm-hmm. And I mean, just, she can't even go outside sometimes without this happening. And it's just, I mean, it's a larger societal issue, but it is very, very obvious in the gaming community.
Amplified. A
Yes,
million
yeah,
percent.
that's a way better word. Yeah,
And I think there's an important point to be made about there are a lot of parallels in just the news recently, like big news, not even just gaming news, but there was an important. I wish I could remember what I was watching. It was probably some stupid daytime talk show that was just on in the background. And I walked by, but it was a great point that. And it wasn't even about gaming or sexist or remarks or anything like that. It was actually about racism, and that kids are not born racist. We raise them that way, or they are taught that way through action or what they experience. And the same goes for harassers. I feel like that kid that joins your squad and says, "Hey guys," like even if it's just 2 words in your chat, should be greeted like, "Hey man, what's up?" or "Hey,
Totally.
hey whatever." Like is this your first time playing? Let's go over here. Like Terraria is a great example, showing them the ropes. DayZ, I would do that, or even Call of Duty. If somebody sucks, it doesn't matter. Like it is at its core. It's just a game. Tomorrow's still gonna be there.
Yeah.
And like you hurt my Halo rank. I don't care. I will drag the entire team down. If I'm not having a good time, I'm gonna get out of that match and find somebody else that wants to just have fun playing the things that I love.
yeah.
I also see
harassers.
this happening with young kids, or what they're referred to in the gaming community as squeakers. And I always take extra special care to be really cool to kids, because I want to like raise an awesome fucking generation of new gamers, you know what I mean? But people are just like, "Oh god, their voice is so annoying," and they just like start relentlessly making fun of this fucking kid. You know, and it's disgusting to me, and I will automatically just be like, don't listen to them. Like, I'll help you. This is what you got to do. It's frustrating. It's frustrating to see people like trying to shut people out of this community that should be like open and like togetherness and rainbows. And
I just picture you like that scenario happening, and you being like, "Okay, first lesson, go in to your menu, and here's how you mute individuals."
Yeah. Yep. 100% of the time. 100% of the time.
That's the best lesson to learn early on.
You see, and to me, I would never do that, just for the simple fact that I know I'm not that good. So if I was to make fun of this kid and he's like 12, he's going to come like in 3 months, because he has like all he's doing during the summer is playing this game, and he's going to just completely stomp my ass, and then he's going to make fun of me, because he knows that this is this is what you do.
Yeah.
So now what you've done is you've created a monster that's going to come back and eat you later.
Yeah.
100%.
The recent players list, man, they'll remember you forever. Like,
Ever.
Mac
And they will hunt
I'm
you
coming
down.
for you.
Yeah. Just so you know, I've been playing 12 hours a day for 4 days, like 5 or 6 days a week for the last 3 or 4 months. And now I'm going to own you.
Oh, Brody's on the lookout. He's looking out for harassers. I do feel like joining any
He's
online
such a white
game.
knight.
He is. He's my little white knight. I do feel like joining any online game, though, to use a dog analogy, is like petting a strange dog. Like, you really don't know what's going to happen. It could be, you go to pet the dog's face and it could bite you. But it also could be the like most loving, caring, awesome, like just foster an awesome interaction with that dog or community, whatever part of that analogy you really want to draw to. I'm really good at this. Let me put away my word brush here.
But what happens when you pet the dog's butt, Joe?
Actually, Brody like just chills. He really likes it, and he like starts shutting his eyes. Not like, well, never mind. I was gonna get graphic, like the top of his butt by his tail. Not like his butt, like.
Just tickle the anus a little. Dogs love it.
I'm sure they do. I will never test that as a scientist.
My poor dog has had diarrhea the past couple days.
Oh no.
It's been the worst. Like, he's just been
awful.
laying under my desk, whining and farting, and it's been toxic and awful.
Aw.
And I have felt so bad. But he seems better today. He
Good.
seems a lot better today.
Doggy doodles are the worst.
Especially when they're all over the floor
Yes.
and liquidous.
That's why I bought a $300 fucking floor cleaner, because
Yeah.
he was actually getting sick a lot. We took him to the vet, and they're like, he's fine, and he was like throwing up. It was not. I was like, I don't think that's fine. Like, that's not normal. So that was I think that was a decent discussion. I think we can all agree that harassment is stupid.
the devil.
There's no point. Absolutely no point. No one wins. You look like an idiot. And you get remembered for being an awful person. So who really wants that?
Yeah, fucking don't do it. Don't fucking do it.
Yeah.
Don't.
Word.
Even if you think that this person that you're harassing is a bad guy, you harassing them back does not make you a good guy. It makes you a bad guy and a harasser. The end.
Whenever somebody says bad guy, I think of Wreck-It Ralph. Just because you're a bad guy doesn't mean you're a bad guy. Wreck-It Ralph 2 is happening, and I'm a happy man.
I'm hyped. Yeah, I loved Wreck-It Ralph so much.
It's so good.
So good.
Oh, man. Anything else? Any other topics?
I got nothing, bro.
Yeah. Bruh. I just noticed there's a Google Play sale on a couple sweet games, so if you want to grab those, Valiant Hearts,
Oh, that's a good one.
that's down to $1. Game of Thrones, The Telltale, is 60 cents. NBA Jam.
What?
I know what I'm buying.
60 cents?
Yeah, I don't know if that's just episode 1. You know how they kind of do those teasers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Episodic, yeah.
It just says Game of Thrones. Oh, episode 5. Okay, so the way they do these mobile apps is kind of dumb. 60 cents, I would imagine, will get you the first episode, and then it says episode 5, A Nest of Vipers, is now available to purchase and download in-app. So I would imagine the app is like a shell. Hello, kitty.
Yeah.
Limbo, Hitman Go, The Room 2 is a great mobile game. Monument Valley.
Yeah, it was.
Everything's under $1. Marvel Pinball. Ant-Man. All right. I could do that. Yeah. That's
Sparta,
just-
you're fucking with a webcam, bro.
It's like right now. So I'll have to make sure I get this whole episode up in a timely fashion. Republic.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Sparta's now fascinated with my little makeup mirror.
Punch it.
Seriously.
Don't talk back to me. Why is your tail wet? Go away.
Whenever the wrong question to ask at any given time is why is blank wet?
Yeah.
So what have we been playing?
Yeah, let's move on.
We already talked about the things I've been playing.
Has it been mainly Terraria? Anything else on
And H1Z1.
the Doxy
yeah.
docket?
That's what I did a little bit of Ark, and it was crazy fun.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I dig that game.
Really a lot harder than I expected it to be.
Yeah, I'm going to be very transparent and say that I played locally and turned like everything down so I could just kind of figure out the mechanics and like
Right?
craft some cool stuff. And then I got addicted to just making shit.
Yeah.
And I spent like 5 hours in my
That's
local...
what these crafting survival games do to you, man.
Yeah, it started to... there's always this turning point where I need like some challenge, so I made like a really cool little house and all this stuff, and then it's like, oh, nothing can kill me, so it's like, boring. I did kill a T-Rex with like the stone pickaxe. I was just
Crazy.
hacking at it because it couldn't
Yeah.
hurt me, but that was more funny than it was actually like entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a
I
cool
can just
game.
see you like maniacally laughing while clicking your mouse.
Oh yeah, just veins popping while I'm laughing in one hand,
Yeah.
crying for some reason. Yeah, so Ark's a pretty good game.
Just throwing popcorn at your face with your other hand. I don't know where this is coming from.
I don't know why I'm crying right now. It's a good visual. Now it's got to happen. So yeah, they've been updating that pretty regularly too, like at least piping in a couple new dinosaur types here and there.
Yeah.
And I haven't played in a couple weeks. Has anything really changed?
I have not played in a couple weeks either, actually. But
Yeah.
like, I do know that there has been some updates. I do plan on jumping on and making some fun videos sometime soon.
Awesome.
So,
About all I got.
so I mean, you guys are not the only ones that are saying how great this game is. How much does this game cost?
$30.
Yeah, $30. It's really poorly optimized.
Yes.
So if you have any kind of computer issues, you might want to wait until you get those fixed.
Yeah. It runs. I've got a AMD processor, an FX 8320, and a GTX 770. 8 gigs of RAM. So I don't have it a beast by any means, but it runs fairly well most of the time. But I do notice some chugging, especially, holy hell, if you're trying to stream it at the same time, it just like, woof.
Yeah.
So that also may have been my OBS problem because it was making ESO nosedive, and that game shouldn't be that demanding. But
Yeah.
yeah, very cool game. Has made a shitload of money in early access, so I'm excited to see where it goes. And this, I still always wonder with early access, like when I'm going to get sick of a game and when it's going to release. You know, am
Yeah.
I going to keep coming back to it before it goes to version 1.0, or am am I going to just give it up and then all of a sudden come back? But the forest is a good example of me going back and being like, whoa, they changed a lot. Looks really good. Runs well. New stuff. I like it. Cool. Brian, what have you been playing?
Yeah. So my work finally replaced my BlackBerry with an iPhone 5C.
I loved my BlackBerry when I had a BlackBerry.
Send me your pin. Send me your BBM pin.
I
I
loved
used to love
it.
BBM.
Yeah. Anyway, I had a buddy that told me to download Alto's Adventure. It's kind of an endless runner where you're on his little snowboard and you're picking up llamas and coins as you're sliding through it. Avoiding.
Yeah, that's what I do every time I go snowboarding. Is
Yeah,
pick up
we do that in
as many
Colorado.
llamas as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of the thing.
I've never gone skiing in my life.
But it's really adorable and it's a lot of fun. You do, it has just a very small group of tricks that you can do while you're snowboarding. It has a really good light mechanic. So, you're during the day and as you're playing, the sun slowly sets and the moon comes out and then it sets and the sun comes back out and it's harder to see things at night. And there's some really cool effects, like especially at sundown. And sunrise, so it's really good, and I think I paid like $1.99 or something, and I've already gotten a ton of play out of it. So it's been a lot of fun. I think I'm actually kind of behind in the times. Apparently, people are really loving this. Like a year ago.
It looks really cool. The art style's awesome.
Yeah, it's really great.
Yeah,
it's really great. So yeah, pick that up if you haven't. Another game I played a bit. We played 4-player local co-op one was Helldivers. Again, I think it's another one of those games where I'm really late to the boat on, but 4 people in the same room screaming at each other, and of course there's friendly fires on all the time.
Uh-huh.
So it's like, no, don't shoot me, don't shoot! And you're going down. It's really great, and just playing together. It's sort of like a co-op Smash TV and like all these things mashed together, and you can put up turrets and stuff, and then the turret starts shooting you because you're between the turret and the enemy, and the turret doesn't know any better, so it just starts shooting. It's a lot of fun, especially the local co-op. It's definitely not a game I would want to play by myself. I can't imagine it would be very fun by myself, but put 3 other people in the room and we just had a blast, just hollering and yelling and having a good time.
I've heard that's really cool. I've heard there are some real fun moments of the drop pod or the helicopter smashing people.
Oh, right. Yeah. So you can order things from the drop ship and it goes whoosh and it comes down, including after someone dies, you can recall them. So to spawn them in, they get dropped from the drop ship. Well, if you're underneath the drop pod, when it comes down, you're dead too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all of a sudden you're like, move, ouch! And then it's like, okay, well, can someone spawn me in now? Thanks. But as long as one person's alive, you can bring everyone back. So there is definitely okay, we're fighting. Okay, one of us is down. Okay, 2 of us are down. And then you start to have that fight or flight response. You're like, okay, should we regroup or? Okay, we're fine. No. We can do it. Oh shit, someone else died. I'm running by. And then you run and you respawn everyone, and then you come back and regroup. So no, it is a lot of fun together. We played all in one room. I would hope that if you're doing voice chat with 3 other people, that it would actually be pretty fun still. But yeah, this is not a game I would want to sit and play by myself.
Yeah,
I love couch co-op.
I've heard you can also
couch
matchmake
co-op.
in that.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think that, or I watched somebody play and they did matchmake. It may have been the Giant Bomb Quick Look where they were 2 people and they had a 3rd person matchmake in, but the people were also dropping in and out, so that could get a little frustrating. But it did look awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It's like a twin stick control scheme, right? Top down.
Yeah, absolutely. You're aiming your guns with one stick and moving around with the other stick. So it's it's a lot of fun.
Sony had a tear actually. Did you play on PS4? I'm sorry.
Yes, that was PS4.
I think it's PS4 exclusive.
We played 3 people with PS4 controllers and 1 person on a Vita playing on the screen. They were using the Vita as a controller.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome.
Work out okay?
So, yeah, awesome. Everything worked great.
Cool.
So.
Oh, I was saying Sony had a tear, and I can't remember what month it was, but Helldivers came out, I think, at the beginning of the month, And then later in the month was Axiom Verge, which I have a copy of. I'm just waiting to get to, which now might be a great time. But I've got something else coming up that I'm pretty excited about. I'll talk about in a minute.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
like a
I
much
want to
like Vegas,
hear.
right?
You mentioned this.
Well, you know how excited I was about Metal Gear 5, right?
Yeah.
Getting to play it and all that stuff. So I went back and watched a full playthrough of Metal Gear Solid, which was one of my favorite games back in the day, but I never continued the series. So 2 days ago, I bought the HD collection on 360. So it's got 2, 3, and Peace Walker. And when I was out in LA, a couple of the guys were saying that this is so similar to Peace Walker. 5 is very similar, but expands upon all the cool stuff in Peace Walker.
Sure.
So I'm going to play through 2, 3, and Peace Walker. I'm going to skip 4 because I don't have a PS3, and I don't think there's time. It's end of July now. It comes out at the beginning of September. For me to get through 3 games by the end of August is going to be pretty big anyway. And
Quit your job.
Yeah, I guess. It's going to be a couple 24-hour streams. But I'm really excited because I'm going to, we're kind of relaunching Play Enlightened and starting to stream more. So I'm going to be streaming that basically whenever I can. Next week, my full-time job is scheduling mostly nights, which is just awesome, the best thing ever. So I will be streaming that Metal Gear stuff in the morning as long as the game shows up either today, tomorrow, or possibly Sunday. It's getting shipped straight to a store. So I'm super pumped for it. I'm super excited.
Yeah, that's really exciting. So are you going to cover it then, or are you just going to play it?
Oh, I'm going to I'm going to stream the whole thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is hype.
Yeah, we're going to stream it all on probably the Play Enlightened channel. We're playing around with the idea of I have a personal channel too, but I've never streamed on it. We're messing with some ideas there, but it'll be on the Play Enlightened Twitch for now. We're going to start with 2, which I know is a kind of a point of contention because of the first hour you play as Snake, but then all of a sudden you're Raiden and nobody likes Raiden. So I'm also going to try and do summaries at the beginning so I can give a good picture of where the story's at, because leading up into 5, I think a lot of people know that Metal Gear is a really cool series, but I think some people are also scared of it because it is so fucking crazy. There's so much, and there's a lot that I can't talk about in the first hour of the game in Metal Gear 5 that is some of the coolest shit I've ever seen, and the craziest shit I've ever seen. Just thinking about it now makes me want to play it again so bad and see other people's faces when they play that first hour.
Just blink twice if there's a Kraken.
No. Uh-oh.
I'm trying to think back. There's so much that happens that I
no.
think I'm missing some things, but yeah. Anyway, I can't talk about it. I don't want to get sued by Konami.
Could be the only income they have.
Oh, zinger! This guy.
Too soon.
Anyway,
so other games I've been playing. I'm playing F1 2015 for review on CoinOp. It's if you, I think it's having the same problem that it had last year, which is if you're into F1 or racing simulations, it's great. If you're not, you are.
close call.
Yeah, you're screwed. I mean, I'm just not that great at racing games, and I'm always in last place. It's just.
Those sims
Racing
can be
games take
tough, man.
practice.
Yeah.
Racing games take a lot of practice.
I think Forza is the most sim heavy I can get, and that is actually a pretty simmy game when it comes down to it.
But these drivers never. I mean, I understand. In reality, these are professional drivers, but every one of it is marked on easy, and they never miss a line, ever. So the only way I can do it is I really have to cut them off and get them upset at me, and I just don't know what else to do to try to scrape my way from 20th place into 16th place to finish the race.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so I'm playing that, and then a game I've now put in almost 40 hours into. It's a terrible JRPG on PS4 called Omega Quintet. The battle mechanics are actually pretty decent. But essentially what it is it's like playing an anime, a magical girl anime in a game. In fact, each section of the story is broken up into episodes, and at the beginning of each episode, you watch the beginning of the opening trail, the opening cinematic of the game, and then at the end of each episode, there's an ending cinematic. So
That's
it's
cool.
So
Yeah.
that part's kind of interesting.
I don't know. I think I would get pretty sick of that.
Well, I mean, you can skip past it, but it's
Okay,
just
that's
like
good
you're
at least.
like, but I don't. Okay, I guess I don't really need to know. I mean, I know who the music is written by already, but apparently I need to know again because that's the end of the episode. So there's 5 teenage girls in little magical girl type outfits.
Sounds so weird
fighting.
when you say it.
Yeah, no,
Sorry.
it is. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little creepy. At least. This is now again. I'm going to stress this was unintentional. But so there's this waterfall coming down in the field. Like there's one field where there's a waterfall, and I'm like, where is this waterfall coming from? So I try to make the camera go up to go look at the waterfall, and instead it looked like I was trying to do a panty shot, and like the girl like covers her junk, and I'm like, whoa.
Oh God, I hope you were recording and you just hear you on the mic go, no.
I was like, and my wife's just like, what happened? And I'm like, all right, I have to explain it to you because otherwise it really sounds creepy. So there's the
It was
battling.
the waterfall. I swear to God, it was the waterfall.
Yeah, I'm really trying to look at this waterfall. I swear.
Just enjoying the scenery, babe. God.
As long as one of us doesn't make like a grass on the field joke, we'll be fine. Oh.
If you allude to it,
Made the grass on the field joke.
I know. And then don't forget about, so there's the part where you're in the office and you're walking around getting story stuff, and then there's the fields where you can go and fight stuff. But then there's also the part
Are
where
there grass on the field?
not all of them. There's a desert area, of course, and a cave area. But no, there's a part where you can go and do a music video where you can tell the group. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, these Magic Girls are also a pop group.
Excellent.
Right,
naturally.
of course. Right, and so you can do a music video where you can actually move them in the, like you can do transitions and different dance moves, and you collect more dance moves as you play the game. So you can, tell them to do different dance moves and move the camera around and,
your favorite trick.
have the, But yeah, so that's also a part of the game is creating promotional videos of them, singing songs. It's pretty terrible. But I keep
just
playing
made
it for some
sound
reason.
pretty awesome.
yeah, it sounds like you're having fun with it. Honestly,
There's I mean, I'm
the
actually,
wrong kind of fun.
yeah, only the right kind of fun.
Not too much.
Yeah. I'm going to see a priest after this for confession. But he's going to say it's okay. Hey-o!
Good God!
What is wrong with us today?
Oh,
we
man.
are saucy.
Just
Saucy.
It's a Friday afternoon. That's what it is.
it's true. We should just record on Friday every time.
Yeah. All we need is a few drinks, and this is going to get out of control.
You should probably do a drunk cast at some time, yeah.
Definitely.
Oh,
Dorky.
yeah. But that's pretty much it for me. Yeah.
I want to ask you about board games.
Yes.
Real fast. So, like, what kind of board games do you play?
Ooh. So some of my favorites are, so a lot of times we play with people who they're not really super familiar with board games. So we usually start out with the games that are good to bring people on board with. And I don't mean, when I say board games, like tabletop games, I don't mean Monopoly.
Right.
We play, I guess, for lack of a better term, designer board games.
Right.
So we'll start out with like Ticket to Ride or Seven Wonders or Dominion. Those are all games that are, and those 3 games are very different from each other, but those are games you can easily bring people in on. Or a game like Pandemic, which is a co-op board game where you're trying to save the world from various viruses. Viri?
I'm just surprised you got out various viruses.
Yeah.
I would have had to be very on point about various viruses. Otherwise, it would have been a train wreck.
But a huge game that a group of friends and we love is called Sentinels of the Multiverse. And this is a
That
card
just
game.
sounds fucking awesome.
That's a badass title.
That's one of the best game names
It
I've
gets
ever
better.
Okay.
So each of you is a superhero. And each deck represents that superhero. So And it's all done in like a comic book format. So it's all like cool comic books, like comic booky art style, and different. And of course, obviously, all the heroes have some resemblance to other heroes you may have heard of.
Right.
They're not exact, obviously, but like one is super fast, and they they have a play style where the more cards that you discard, like you use and discard, then you can take all those discards and use them as like one giant like one giant attack. I personally like a guy called Absolute Zero, where he can, absorb other, like you can attack him, he'll absorb it and then fire it back at somebody.
Yeah, that sounds dope.
So there's one guy who basically he turns himself into like a tank, and can fire. And so there's just a bunch of these different heroes, and they are fighting a supervillain. So there is a deck in the middle that is a supervillain, and the supervillain has a turn every time you go around, and then there's like a super cool environment, like a Jurassic World type thing that you can play in that has an effect on the game. So you and everybody else who's playing are superheroes. You're trying to fight and take down this supervillain, and they are like so you start with maybe like 25 hit points, and the supervillain has like 100. And like so one like has like a machine that shoots out like little drones that try to attack you, and like one that spawns other creatures, and they do this, and it is a ton of fun, and they are super aggressive about putting out new decks. So they have like my friends have so many of the heroes. You have a choice of like, I don't know, 30, 40 heroes at this point.
That's dope.
So
That's awesome.
It is so much fun.
Yeah, that sounds really fun.
Yeah, that sounds sick.
I'm also really into designer board games, as you put
Oh
it.
yeah?
Yeah. Me and my boyfriend have been playing Netrunner. Have you heard of Netrunner?
I have heard of Netrunner.
Do you have it? Have you played it?
No, we do not own it, but yes, I want to play it.
It is really complicated, and it is hard to learn. It took us like 2 hours to even learn how to play a game, and then we played it wrong for the first like month. But it's really fun. It's like I get so salty in this game. Like I've never gotten more angry from a board game before. But okay, so you've got this hacker character. One of you plays as a hacker. It's a 2-player game. One of you plays as this like hacker, and one of you plays as a corporation. And the corporation has to like both of your like goals. Your end goal is to collect assets from the corporation, and the corporation will have these assets in their deck, and they'll play them, and they'll have to like put money on them in order to score them. The hacker needs to hack the servers that this person has built to access that and steal it. So it's really fun and really hard, but they also aggressively put out new content as well. And I think that would be something that, like, I think that we would be able to find an online version of that if you wanted to learn how to play it.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, do you prefer to be the corporation or the hacker?
I prefer to be the hacker, but I like to play defensively, which is like the most ridiculous thing and probably the worst possible combination. Like I don't know. Like that's one thing. My boyfriend is so good at it, and he gets the strategy a lot better than I do, and he most of the time I win. Most of the time when I win by just like sheer dumb fucking luck. But it's crazy. I don't know. I feel like the corporation is a little bit overpowered, but he insists that it's not. I don't know. There's a whole subreddit on it that you should take a look at and see if it might be something that you'd be interested in, because if you and your wife like to play these games, then I'm sure that you could get some use out of it. It's
awesome.
A good fucking game.
That's awesome. Yeah, we'll check it out.
What about you, Joe? Do you play any board games?
What are you looking at, Joe?
Play the shit out of categories. That's what I'm looking at.
I love categories. I love categories. I'm really good at it.
I think Netrunner might be kind of interesting for my wife and I to play, because we have been, she loves board games, but we just don't have a lot that are less than 4 players. So we have Cards Against Humanity, and we love playing it, but we always have to take it, we usually take it to a brewery and get really drunk and play, and it's awesome, and we're the loudest table in the place, and it's
totally
so much fun. But I would be more than willing to accept recommendations for 2-player games. I also backed, I think it's Max Temkin, or the guys that made, it may be the same company, it may not just be Max, but anyway, the guys that made Cards Against Humanity have a second game that they kickstarted, I believe, called Slap 45, and I'm really excited for that to come out, because it's like a it's a card game, but it's like a Western like weird party game. I can't really explain it without looking at everything again because it's been a while since it ended.
Still, I'll check that out for sure.
But it looks like a fucking blast. Like every time you have to do motions and gestures, so it shows a lot of people like slapping the cards and drawing guns on each other. So, and I love cowboys, so
Nice.
I have heard a lot about Ticket to Ride and Seven Wonders, though, especially because I listen to DLC and cannot always have that end part about board games.
Yeah.
And he almost always mentions
Tabletop
that as a
talk?
good... Yeah, it's a really good theme.
Yeah, they have really good bumpers. They really have a lot of catchy bumpers.
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
They stick in your head for a while.
Bastards.
But yeah.
There's so many board games I want to talk about now.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about board
Let's
games.
talk about board games. I may be mostly silent, but I would be interested to hear.
Okay, there's a game called Last Night on Earth. Have you heard of that one?
Yes.
Have you played it?
I have not played it.
It's so good. So
Yes.
good. One person controls zombies, and then the rest of the players are the heroes, and you have to like move around like the board. There's a board, an actual board, and like collect weapons, and like you can fight off zombies, and it's really, really cool. Your goal
Sounds
is
awesome.
to like survive the night. And it comes with a little soundtrack, which is really cool. And you can, it's amazing. And then also, what else is there? Super Fight. Have you guys heard of Super Fight?
Yes,
I think I
I
have.
have heard of
Fucking
Super.
awesome. I got to play it with the guy who made it actually at PAX. And by the way, that guy is fucking awesome. If you ever get the chance to hang out with the guy who made Super Fight, you should do it. Yeah, it's like, okay, you draw cards, and these cards are all various qualities about your superhero. So, like, there's like a base card and then quality cards. So you draw a card, and it might be like, I don't know, Ricky Gervais on fire. And I made that up completely off the top of my head. I don't know if that's a card,
Really?
but like,
Best superhero ever.
well, it's stuff like that though. It's really cool. And then you draw like a power card, and then you decide like who has the best superhero, basically. And it's really, really cool.
That is interesting.
awesome.
I like that.
Also, I have Settlers of Catan, but I've never played it. And I would play Risk every day for the rest of my life if I could.
One game might
I
take
love
that.
Risk.
Yeah.
So Settlers of Catan, I really enjoy the game, but like I still feel like the very beginning it sort of tells you exactly not like it determines kind of how close you are to winning. So if you kind of get screwed at the beginning, like you have very little recourse of being able to come back. And as much as I enjoy the game, sometimes I feel like within like the first like 3 or 4 turns, the game's already over for me if I did poorly. So
That's where you do house rules, man.
well, I haven't played that many games. Only
Okay.
maybe half dozen to a 10, like 6 to 10.
I've never played. But yeah,
So.
house rules are a big thing when games are unbalanced for me.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I have played one game of Star Wars Armada, which is a fantasy flight game. And that was a huge amount of fun where like you have like Star Destroyer, like the Imperial side have Star Destroyers and TIE fighters, and they're like miniatures, and the Rebels have, there's a Nebulon B frigate and a Corellian Corvette. And some X-Wings. So that was a lot of fun. I'd like to play more of it though. Like you ever just have like where you play it once and you're like, I don't know if I really love this game, but I really want to try it some more.
Yeah, definitely. I get that with video games all the time.
Oh yeah.
Like, all the time.
I want to play Dead of Winter. That's the one that it's on my wish list, but it's kind of expensive. That's like a survival horror game. So like literally like you're a group of people trying to survive. And you're trying like you have cards where, so you're trying to survive as a group, but you also have goals, personal goals. So if your personal goal is to, by the end of the game, you need to have X amount of food stacked up, and all of a sudden, so you're like, okay, well, so you start collecting food, and people are like, why are you hoarding food? Are you hoarding food because you're going to kill us? And then all of a sudden you'll start turning on each other because you don't know, and you can't be like, no, I just need to do this. No, you can't tell them that. So they're like, there is not necessarily a betrayer, but there could be like everyone else could decide you're a betrayer, and they might kill you or exile you from the group. So
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I really, really, really want to try that one out.
What was
There
this?
I wish
Was
there
it
was
that?
like
Sorry.
Dead of Winter.
I wish there was like a Netflix for board games or like a library of board games where you could like rent board games.
Oh my
That would be awesome.
God, you might have a $1,000 idea.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what other ones we really, really love.
Oh, BoardGameExchange.com.
Really?
Nice.
Oh, Jesus. Premium subscription, $26.99 a month.
Ooh.
4 games
Ever? Nice.
4 games every 2 months. That could be kind of cool.
4 games. I'd have to think that through. I don't. The problem is we have so many that now we got to the point where we have so many that we're like can't play them all in one weekend. So that's kind of why I was telling you guys about this in the chat before the show started. Is 2 other couples and myself and my wife we're going to rent a house for a week in Indianapolis and meet up. And it's not during Gen Con, which is in Indianapolis, which is a board game convention. But we're just going to have a week where we sit around, eat, drink, and play board games.
I'm jealous. I want to
pretty
go.
awesome.
Yeah, so we're very, very excited to do that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm just gonna crash your party. I hope you know that.
Just find that one house.
Just gonna show up.
Yeah, you just drive around Indianapolis like, Brian, you
Honking.
here?
Brian, Quag, Quagland.
Yes. So we actually found a really good deal on Airbnb. So it's like $700 for like the week.
Damn,
That's awesome.
That's really
Yeah,
good.
that's really good.
3-bedroom house. So that was nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very excited.
I am plumb out of topics.
I played the shit out of Batman.
Oh, yeah?
Played so much Batman, yeah. That's really the only thing that's been on my consoles. Or,
Radar,
like
yeah.
anything. Even I launched up ESO. I got it for like $12 during that Green Man Gaming sale. Played it for like 30 minutes. And then it was like, man, I'm going to go play some more Batman. And so the way that I tackled Batman was I actually didn't get it for review, and I'm glad I didn't because I took my time and I just got 100% on it like a couple days ago. Like got
Nice.
all the Riddler trophies, got it was super psyched. Like I haven't done it in the Batman game before, and it was a really weird feeling like it's over. And then it's like, oh, new game plus. Shit.
Are you gonna do New Game Plus then?
Yeah, I'm already going through it.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
But I think that kind of speaks to what I think of the game. I reviewed it on Play Enlightened and put it up there, playenlightened.com. Should be on the front page. I liked it a lot. It got a lot of hate for a couple of things, including the Batmobile. That was like the biggest. That's actually the only negative that I have. And it wasn't even a negative.
What
the
is
entire
even
time.
wrong with it? I'm out of the loop.
It's awesome. It's fucking awesome for most of the game, but then near the end, they just kind of. It feels like they almost ran out of ideas or didn't want to pipe in boss fights in a like hand-to-hand way like they were in Arkham Origins. So they kind of put them in tank fights. So you.
That sounds awesome.
It was There's just this thing where they have like these almost like stealth sections within the tank where you kind of have to get it. They have these sensors that go around, and then they'll stop. The enemy drone tanks will stop and then do a 360 scan. So you kind of find yourself like creeping around Gotham in the tank mode. You just hold like on Xbox, it's left trigger, and you go into this tank mode, and it's awesome. It's so cool. But I just felt like those sections near the end started to pile up. Like it went from like 1 here and there to like 3 in a row. And I was kind of like, okay. Part of it, though, I do think was my fault because there are side missions. And the side missions, for the most part, are awesome because you can just discover them as you're flying around Gotham. Like there are mines sitting in the middle of the road, and you'll just hear this beeping. You go into your tank's battle mode or your Batmobile's battle mode, which is tank mode, and then you basically upload a virus to it, which alerts Arkham Knight's bad dudes to send a bunch of drones. So they send like a shitload of tanks after you and maybe some little helicopter drones. So you basically are defending this little area. You can't leave this certain radius, and then once that's all done, you just blow up the mine. But near the end of that, there's a boss fight with a character that I won't spoil. That you are. It's another tank fight. You're going around the city trying to get around him in this big fucking badass tank. But it was still, even though it was a little annoying, I never got to the point where I was like, "Fuck this game!" Like I just really enjoyed just about everything in there. It's gotten a lot of hate too because some of the plot is. Some people say they saw it coming from a mile away, and I feel like those people actually just guessed correctly, or have read enough Batman to be like, okay, that makes sense, because there are some twists and turns. Like for me, they were all exciting because I haven't read all the comics, but I know a rough approximation of a lot of the storylines. The Killing Joke, the Dark Knight Returns is the one where he comes back, right? Like there's basically a shitload of really good stories. There's also some really bad ones, but they take the good parts of a lot of them and some of the really cool characters and just flip some of it on its head. Like I think this could be its own Batman alternate comic series. You know how they do like Ultimate Marvel series?
Yep.
It could be its
Sure.
own thing. But I think that a lot of people were just annoyed because some of the story twists were used, in the comics. But it's going to be hard when your fucking hero's been around for almost 100 years.
Yeah, dude.
Right.
You're going to tread some familiar ground. But I thought it was awesome. I gave it 4.5 out of 5. And I would wholeheartedly recommend it to anybody that likes action games, anybody that likes a good brawler. If you like JRPGs and only JRPGs, it might not be your thing. But it's got a little bit of everything, like for most people.
For everyone else.
Yeah. It's cool as hell.
So-
I want to find out.
So, Joe, I have two questions for you. One is, how does the Batmobile stealth? Like, I mean, it's a Batmobile. It's a giant thing.
I think the way that they kind of rationalize it is that there's the two modes. So there's like super fast go-go mode, which is like normal. And then there's hold that left trigger and go into battle mode. And the battle mode, you actually make noticeably less noise than your giant engine revving through the streets.
Okay.
And you also, when you're going through the streets, it's awesome because you can hit the afterburner and you haul ass through Gotham. And they did a good job with the destructibility to make it like... It's Batman. You're kind of ruining Gotham, but it's funny because it just comes back 2 seconds later. Like you can go back around the block and everything you just blew up is fine because video games.
It's video games.
But yeah, if you're holding the left trigger, you're making less noise. Like you can notice it, but I think they also can kind of justify it as in like they're drones. They're probably not gonna have microphones on them or anything like that. Like there's just a few kind of like suspended disbelief for just long enough for it to make a little bit of sense.
Sure. My second question is, did you feel like that this game like just got a lot of hate because it was cool to hate it?
Probably. It's the only thing that came out.
Yeah,
at the end of
definitely.
June.
That's just gonna happen with big games.
Yeah. Well, don't get me
100%
wrong.
of the time.
There is some case with the PC release. That's inexcusable.
Well, yeah. I don't mean that particularly.
But yeah, I think anybody that can criticize the story probably will. It's the same thing as if trying to think of the last like movie, Edge of Tomorrow. I fucking loved Edge of Tomorrow. I thought it was great, like beginning to end. But I also went into it understanding that like, hey, I'm gonna watch a cool sci-fi flick, and that's all I want. And I was blown away. Like it was a really cool story. It kept my attention the entire time. I loved it.
Yeah,
Same thing happened with Batman. I knew I wanted to finish up this Batman trilogy. I knew it was an M rating, so it was going to be a little dark. And after that, it was like, okay, new Batman. I almost treated it like a brand new Batman movie or something. Like, no expectations beyond, like, I know who Batman is. I know some of the story. And I know the combat's going to be really fucking good. And it blew me away. I thought it was awesome. And I think that I'm not going to say that everybody else that's reviewed it or is playing it is cynical, but I do think there are some cynics that are just cynics to be cynics.
Right.
Totally.
And no story will ever be good enough. I mean, for me, like Inception and Prestige are two of the best movies ever made, but there are people that fucking hate them because of the way they ended or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
that's fine. That's the other thing is that's why they're reviews. They're, completely subjective. You don't have to agree with me. I thought it was fucking great. I think everybody should,
Right.
especially if you like Batman, you got to give it a try. But if you like video games, it's a video game ass video game. It's really good.
Nice. Sorry, I'm looking out my
The
window.
back of the box quote.
There is a grown man walking around with a Bowser shell backpack.
Hell yes, he is.
Yep, that's happening right now, right outside my window.
I was taking the train downtown in Denver here, and we were at a stop, and there's a kid like on the train station wearing a creeper head. And I like, was on my phone, I like look up. What the fuck? Look out, he's gonna blow!
He's hissing!
I'm trying to think if I played anything else. Like I said, I played ESO. I popped that back in. That's gonna be like a side thing. I got it for a couple bucks during the Green Man sale. which
Meh.
kudos to them. That sale was awesome. I also got the Old Blood Wolfenstein.
Oh,
Yes.
And
So there's the New Order, which was my game of
Right.
the year last
which is
year.
the New Order, which is the old game, and the Old Blood, which is the
Which
new
is the
game.
new game. But
Right.
I'm really looking forward to this because I loved the new. I'm gonna mix them up. I know it. I love the New Order. It was my game of the year of 2014 because it just surprised me with what they were able to do with who should be. It should have been like Duke Nukem. Like they should have fucked it up. It should have been a terrible game, and they did a great job
Was
with
not.
it.
no, my boyfriend is going crazy on some Wolfenstein.
It's
He
so
loves
good.
It, loves it.
So good. And that's what gives me cause for hope with Doom too. Doom 4, Doom, whatever. The Old Blood is allegedly. I haven't played a lot of it, so I can't testify to it. It's really cool so far. Like I'm 30 minutes in, but it's supposed to be a more like grindhouse, like ode to Inglourious Bastards kind of thing. Still in that Wolfenstein style, so it looks exactly like the New Order. But I think it takes a little bit more of a liberty with having a bit more fun. I got it for $5, so even if it sucks, I'm not gonna be pissed
Yeah, who
about
cares?
it. But the first character that like you run into that is clearly going to factor in later in the game is this giant German, like, oh my god, he's a terrifying, like the buffest. You know how Germans in movies, like that stereotype is they're the
Yeah.
buffest dudes you've ever
Totally.
seen. Blonde hair, blue eyes, like he was awesome, and he has this terrifying hellhound. Like it's I just like how they can make these characters, and because they're Nazis, you hate them and you gotta kill
Yeah.
them, but they're still so cool because they can be just evil, and you know they're evil, and they just kind of exude that when you like. The dude didn't do much except walk into the room, and I was already like, oh man, he's gonna be a bastard to kill. Like that's gonna suck. I'm excited to get to that one, but I honestly think I'm gonna be spending more time in Batman. Like that New Game Plus is
Wow.
still kind of got me. Like
I can't fathom a game that would be good at New Game Plus that isn't Dark Souls. Like, so I'm excited to hear about your New Game Plus experience with Batman.
Well, I can tell you, I'm like 4% back through it, so thank God I don't have to go after all the Riddler trophies. There's 243 of them, and I found every Riddler thing. It was actually wasn't
How many
too bad.
did you look up?
Oh, a lot. I won't sugarcoat that. But it's the trophies, like finding the actual trophies sometimes is just like they're in the weirdest places.
Right.
But when you start a new game, I knew on the hardest difficulty, they have this system. Have you guys played the Arkham series? The combat system has a way to tell you what's going to happen, like what this next enemy is going to do
Yeah.
to you,
okay.
essentially. So if it's
Sure.
a blue flash, you got to hit Y and you're going to counter that.
Yeah.
If
Totally.
it's
It's
red,
a lot like Assassin's Creed.
yeah, and Shadow of Mordor used it too.
Yeah, definitely.
But
Yep.
basically, there's some sort of indication of what that guy's going to do to you and how, and you should know through the controls. Like, I need to slap left trigger real quick and throw a batarang. New Game Plus that turned that off.
Nice.
And
Ooh.
it makes the game a little bit more.
Infinitely harder.
Yeah, it's way more difficult because you really have to like read these animations. 'Cause
Right.
you'll see a dude like I might be fighting 30 people in a room because they do jam them in tight spaces.
Yeah.
Gross. But then they've got like one guy that will all of a sudden you'll see him like get down, and if it were not New Game Plus, you'd see red all over his head, meaning you need to throw a batarang and it'll go to that guy and take him down because he's going to charge you, he's going to tackle you, and you're going to feel like an idiot. Like it barely hurts, but it's just so demoralizing. Like Batman just got speared by a stupid Joker thug. But it does make the game more interesting, and I think that's what's going to keep me invested. Is like now I look forward to engagements with the enemy because I don't know what's going to happen. When I had
Right.
those
Right.
little flash up things, I kind of knew exactly what I was going to do. If I really wanted to, I could just wait for everybody to attack me and hit Y. But now it's like I got to play it a little safe. Like it's awesome. I'm really excited to go
Good.
back through that, and I'm actually. Like, leading up to this Metal Gear thing, I'm kind of thinking about getting back into The Witcher on a very hard difficulty just to see how
Do
Dark
it.
Soulsy it gets.
Do it,
I'm really interested in that. We
Do it,
will.
Joe.
We'll see. Right before, because, yeah, Metal Gear is going to carry me through September and October, and then it's Fallout, and you guys will never hear from me again.
No,
Right.
you're going to hang out with us all the time, and we're going to be talking about how much fun we're all having with Fallout.
Probably. Like November 11th, this will turn into the Fallout cast.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Get ready for that.
Yeah. Just replace all our pictures with Pip-Boy.
Yeah. Our characters.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm gonna have
you should
mine.
Do it. I will have mine. I don't even know if mine's just gonna be displayed. I might just hold it.
Mine probably.
Anyway,
Yeah.
there was a demo. That's kind of news. There was a demo at QuakeCon today, but it didn't sound like it was too crazy. Seemed like, oh, you can name your character Fuckface, and the robot that said your name will call you Mr. Fuckface.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like it's actually programmed in the game. I'm so excited.
I'm sure they were probably like, okay, they went to the actor and they're like, okay, we're going to have to make sure that you do all the names that they could possibly choose. So let's go through the first ones. Fuck, shit, cock, penis, dick. Like, and he's just like, how do you know these will be the top 5 names? We know.
It's the internet. You gotta admire it because it's a pretty bleak game that has some funny moments that are like obviously not intended. And they're allowing for some of that now. They're kind of they've
definitely embraced some of the humor, it looks like, and I am really, really excited.
Yeah, we need to stop talking about it because I'm freaking out. It's 3 months away.
Getting like palpitations.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say something about Emperor Palpatine. Unlimited power. Anyway, I think that's another episode.
Yeah,
right?
I think that's a wrap.
I think we're gonna call it. I'm always shocked when we don't have topics. We actually have really good shows.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is continue doing this for the time being. We'll do a live stream. I believe we planned on once a month.
Once a month sounds perfect. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
So we'll let you know with plenty of heads up when that's going to be, so we can get everybody possible to pile into chat and give us the best topics ever, because you are the best chat.
Best chat.
So Doxy, where can we find you?
You can find me at youtube.com/ZER0DOXY, twitch.tv/ZER0DOXY, and twitter.com/ZERODOXY. Also, soon to be found in Iowa.
Oh yeah,
So
the big
excited.
move.
Yeah. I'm so
That's
excited.
exciting. Do you know when that's happening for sure?
Yeah, the first.
Oh damn.
Yeah. It's
Literally
really
a week
Soon.
away.
Yeah.
Soon.
Awesome. Brian, where can we find you?
Yeah, you can find me at Twitch, or not Twitch. Yeah, you can find me at Twitch. I don't Twitch, but you can find me at Twitter as Quiglin. That's Quiglin. You can also find me guesting on Prove Your Point podcast this week. I joined a buddy of mine on there, so check that out.
Whoop, whoop. I'll put the link for that.
Yes.
There. I'm Joe. You can find me at twitter.com/Joe_McAllister. Twitch.tv/PlayEnlighten. We're actually streaming now, like a couple times. Also, PlayEnlighten.com should be up and running. You can visit it now. It is not complete. Please pardon the dust. You can also find me. That's about it, actually. That's the only places I want you to know about.
Don't go looking for his Pornhub. Don't do it.
Well, it's impressive. I mean, I don't want to brag, but I'm kind of still building it up before I share it out.
Yeah.
Anyway, for the Homerow Podcast, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
Bye, everybody. Bye.